Are you struggling with fatigue, mood swings, and cravings around your period? Or if it's not just your habits, but actually your hormones? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why fasting and balancing your blood sugar levels is the key to unlocking better periods and feeling like you're working with your body and not against it. Today, we're going to talk about your abdomen. Pretend that's your stomach. And inside your abdomen sits your liver and your stomach. Pretend this is anatomically correct. And right about here sits your pancreas. Now this is an exocrine gland, which means it secretes hormones. And it secretes two hormones that are responsible for regulating glucose. And glucose is sugar, essentially, that is used in all of our cells throughout our body. When glucose levels are high in the blood, glucagon lowers the levels. So you can think of glucose gone. The second hormone is responsible for raising our blood sugar levels when they are low. And this is insulin. And this is what we're going to be focusing on today. Our body is fluctuating all the time, and we have got specific parts of our body that help to maintain what we call homeostasis. And homeostasis is the set point that our body likes to stay within. So insulin and glucagon help to raise our blood sugar and lower our blood sugar. And this is super important so that our blood sugar levels stay steady. Now, when we eat all of our food, this changes our blood sugar levels. So all of this food changes the fluctuations from homeostasis. And what insulin does is it helps keep our energy stable, it keeps our hormones stable, it keeps our mood and focus stable. But often our insulin levels can get a little bit confused, and this becomes the normal. Our insulin rises beyond the point that is healthy. Now, high insulin can cause increased fat in the body. It can cause you to feel hungry all the time, so your appetite is increased, and it disrupts your hormones, mainly the hormones responsible for your menstrual cycle. High insulin leads to low progesterone, and this is bad news for our cycle because it affects our periods, it affects our mood, and it affects our fertility. Now, when our insulin remains high for a little too long, this can show up in different things like insufficient sleep, insomnia, fatigue, anxiety, a lot of different things. And this can be caused by insufficient sleep, constant spikes of our blood sugar, and this can be from things like toast or sugar or fizzy drinks, essentially fast releasing glucose bombs. As you can see, insulin is completely linked to our cycles and to stressed out and unstable hormones. So we want to start regulating our insulin levels, our blood sugar levels, trying to maintain them at a steady state. So coming back to that idea of homeostasis. And we're going to do this in several different ways. The first way we're going to handle this situation is through sleep. Now, you probably don't want to hear this. Basically, when you go days of sleeping under 8 hours, this results in what we call a sleep debt. So you're basically just tired and you haven't caught up on the sleep that you've missed. This really affects your blood sugar levels and your energy levels. So when we're thinking about regulating insulin, we must think about sleep. Second, my pen is running out. The second way we're going to regulate our insulin levels is, I know this is a little bit hard to hear, but stop with the simple carbs. So these are the carbohydrates that release glucose very quickly. As soon as we eat them, we get a spike of glucose, and this can affect our insulin and glucagon levels. Thinking white bread, sugar, and sugary drinks, things like white rice, think basically white foods. The way to counterbalance this is focus on complex carbohydrates. And this is stuff like quinoa and buckwheat and brown rice and oats You should not avoid carbohydrates as a rule, but focus on carbohydrates that are going to really release glucose slowly throughout your day and keep your energies at a steady rate. Focus on stress, or rather reducing stress, because stress also has a huge impact on your insulin levels. So these three things, sleep, simple carbohydrates, and stress, are going to impact your insulin levels hugely. So let's jump into food, why don't we? Because I'm going to do sleep as a separate video, and I'm also going to talk about stress as a separate video. I've got a video on my 5-minute routine to regulate my nervous system, and that is a really excellent video if you want to focus on this third item. I'm going to put that here, and I will do this at a later point. Okay, my pen is running out. I'm going to talk a little bit about the book Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz. You can check her out here on YouTube. She is amazing, and she talks all about fasting for regulating your insulin levels and regulating your hormonal cycle. Her system completely changed my cycle. Let's talk about it. This is the system that you are going to use to regulate your insulin levels and therefore regulate your period. We're going to start with the follicular phase, and it's around week 2, so day like 7 to 13. Okay, this phase, estrogen is rising. This means you have a lot more energy, you're metabolizing much quicker. The best opportunity for fasting in this phase. So you're going to focus on longer fasting, a fasting window of 17 to 36 hours. Obviously 13 to 15 if you're not used to fasting. Ovulation, your estrogen is at its peak. This is the phase where estrogen and testosterone have both peaked, and you're going to have more of a moderate fasting, 15 to 17 hours. Your body needs glucose to ovulate, so this is a necessary thing, so you want to be eating. Now your luteal phase is around day 17 to 28. This is week 4, this is the autumn of your cycle. This is where your progesterone comes into play, and your body becomes more resistant to insulin. And so here you're going to not want to fast. They're going to stress out your body and mess with your hormones. Studies have suggested that women tend to increase their calorific intake by around 300 calories around this phase. So there's a reason you're so hungry. The menstrual phase is the winter of your cycle. It is week 1 technically, but I've put it at the end because it makes way more sense to me. And this is day 1 to 7. And your hormones are at a low. Body is shedding its uterus lining and it's focusing all of its energy on that. So you want to encourage your body with more energy. If you're going to fast at all, maybe focus on a 13 to 15 hour fast. So can you see how fasting is so helpful for regulating your insulin levels, and how regulating your insulin levels helps to maintain your steady blood sugar levels, which helps to maintain really healthy periods. So if you found this helpful at all, please let me know in the comments by saying I found this helpful. And if you're interested in conversations around period health, I'm a medical herbalist and I help women move from painful, tricky, hard, dysregulated periods to regulated, peaceful, easeful periods using lifestyle and herbal medicine. And if you're interested in sticking around, please subscribe.